Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Let me tell you why some ordinary gamers, why Mudahar should have the completionist on his show again, right? Throw him an olive branch and clarify things up. Ask him how he's doing. What's going on, buddy? I didn't use any of that colorful language like Carl did, right? So instead of, going to court, let's just talk it out here in my show and give him a path to redemption. Now, you're asking why. Why would he do that? Let me tell you. It's because Mr. Mudahar put a statement here, I think a couple of weeks ago. But it goes something like this, right? And I think it was about a month ago. It says, in the last couple of weeks, a YouTuber, Noah Sampson, for those of you who don't know, this is one of those professional wusses out there on YouTube, has uploaded a few videos labeling me as a genocide supporter in the title and thumbnail of the video. Yikes. That's not a good thing. That's not good for business. I can see, right? I can see why he's looking to take legal action. Today, me and the team sat down and watched them and could not find a single clip of me supporting the Israeli government or any of its genocidal practice. Wow. So, it goes on from there, but you get the gist of it, right? He wants to take legal action because this guy is talking smack on the internet. Does it sound familiar? It does to Carl. But what does that have to do with Gerard? What does that have to do with that? Well, let me tell you guys. Look, when you're going to go into these type of deals, what do you think this lawsuit's going to cost him? 50 G's at the minimum, right? Because he's got to hire lawyers, probably hire lawyers in different places. It's not going to be one set of lawyers, unfortunately. So at the minimum, this thing is going to run him $50,000. That's being very charitable. These things never resolve right away. So if you're looking at 2 years, right, and this is not legal advice of any kind, by the way. This is just you and me talking, right, about other people's problems because we're off to work. We're going to have to make reports on things nobody cares about. Talk to people we don't want to talk to in order to make some money. Well, to entertain ourselves, we talk about other people's problems. Now, getting back to the issue here, he could spend $200,000 in 2 years. Easy, right? I don't know about you, right? But burning through cash like that can hurt my soul, right? And I want some satisfaction. If I'm going to, burn that kind of cash, you don't want to end up like Carl Jobs, spending all that money, and then you got to pay. You got a warrant, enforcement warrant on your ass. You don't want that, right? You want to win. So you want to give yourself as a business, right? Because Mudahar, he's talking as a business. Not good for his brand that some idiot out there is, talking about genocide and stuff. So you bring on Gerard. Why would you do that? Let me tell you why you must. Because Gerard has threatened legal action against you already. And is a man that has about, in resources, he's a millionaire because of his family. Even if he never had a YouTube channel, even if his business went absolutely broke, right? He comes from a family with money. His daddy has over $50 million to play with, and he can make your life pretty miserable if he wants to, right? You go over there, Dad, just, give me $500,000. I want revenge. Do this for me. I don't know if his dad would, but let's just pretend for the sake of argument and entertainment, right? But the reason you're doing this is to prevent a simultaneous lawsuit while you're suing somebody else. Because the one thing you don't want to do is spend money on two fronts. You don't want to spend $200 on this idiot, Samson, and then another $200 with Gerard. If you're planning to sue, make sure you're not in multiple lawsuits so you can put your resources to one. These claims that this man is making are terrible. They're terrible for business. You don't want, your advertisers to see videos labeling you as this, especially when you're saying there's no evidence that you don't support any of these things that he's claiming, regardless of what the point of view is, right? If your brand is out there to make money, right? If your reputation is out there, and you have to remember, Mudahar has a real job. He has a real career. YouTube is just his side business. If it ended tomorrow, it's not going to make a meaningful impact on his life. However, it would make a meaningful impact on his reputation professionally. So it's not only the YouTube side of it, and that's the problem with big YouTubers. When you get really big, people are going to come after you to make money. You can say anything, right? When you make a video about Mudahar, maybe you get more views. If you make a salacious video, right, where you're either making up stuff or just exaggerating stuff, then it becomes even probably more views. I mean, that's just the nature of YouTube. They promote whatever's more engagement, and people like clowning on other people, and that's just the nature of the beast. Some of it is okay if it's just clowning, but you're making accusations that could be, held against you financially by advertisers, that could be held against you by your employers. Like, what the hell is this, man? Why is your name here? Who's this Samson guy? He looks like a wuss, but what is he talking about? Right? And then now you have to explain yourself, right, of why somebody would say something like this about you. And it never looks good. I mean, what are you going to say? Look, I went through all my videos. I didn't see anything that, it just, the explanation is no good. Nobody should ever find anything like that, especially if it's not true. While this guy's just making videos and saying all these names so he gets more views, makes more money on YouTube. A lot of these, well-to-do socialists are all about that. You ever notice, right? These Marxist communists, how they have more money than most people. They never have to live with the policies that they're advocating, right? Oh, yeah, release all the criminals. Let's do this. But they don't live in the crappy neighborhoods with the criminals, right? It's the rest of us that have to deal with the crap that they're doing. Yeah, just do this, do that, do the other. And they never go to the countries that they admire, right? There's all these systems. If you want Marxism, there's plenty of options for you. If you like communism, there's plenty of options for you. They never want to go there. How come they don't put their YouTube channels on there? Oh, that's right, because you can't make any content. They'll shut you the hell up. You can't talk about the government at all, right? All the freedoms they enjoy in their capitalistic venture of YouTube would be completely off the table. Guys, I'm telling you, this would be a strategic move. I know you think it's silly, but business-wise, it makes sense. You do not want at all to be fighting multiple lawsuits. One you suing this guy, and then the completionist suing you, because there's no time limit, right? There's no time limit on when somebody can take action on you because these videos are being published, right? Even if these lawsuits get thrown out, eventually it's still going to cost you money. And the money that he would spend on the completionist is money that he probably should be spending trying to, put this idiot in his place, right? People making claims that have absolutely no merit. What do you guys think? Is he coming back? I think he should. If all you have to do is, talk to some guy for half an hour, and that's going to save you 50, 100 grand in legal fees, do it. Why not? Nobody cares. All right, humans, I will catch you on the next one. Take care.